guys, my name is Miranda, but you probably know me better by my Instagram name, which is @motherofsirpants. So a few days ago I asked if I should start making snake related videos, and it was a pretty solid yes. You guys wanted to see some videos. There were a lot of really great suggestions, and I do want to get around to doing all of them. I'm just not sure when I will. I do want to take my time with it and try to make them really good. But I figured what better way to start off than introducing all of my snakes one by one. So right here, I have the first snake that I ever got, who I post a lot. He's a male Candino ball python. His name is Elton. I got Elton almost 2 years ago now from a reptile expo, a local one. I purchased him from Tandem Reptiles. Unfortunately, I haven't really seen them at any expos since I purchased Elton, and I also haven't been able to find them on Facebook or anything. They don't have a website. So if they ever turn up again, I would highly recommend them. Very good quality ball pythons. He is seriously the love of my life. I've always really loved snakes when I was younger. Like, all those learning to read books, they were all about snakes and dinosaurs and lizards. I've always really had a passion for reptiles, but my mom is scared of snakes, and because of that, I was not able to keep snakes until I was an adult. So I got Elton when I was 19 years old, and he's been with me ever since. I probably could not have asked for a better snake with Elton. He is just the most calm, relaxed little guy. He's the only snake of mine that I have that I've never even heard him hiss before. He's just a really nice, calm, gentle guy. I named him Elton because I'm a very big Elton John fan. I love Elton John, I love his music, I really admire Elton John as a person. But Elton, I think he may be going into shed now because he doesn't really look as purple as he does, and a lot of the pictures that I post of him are in direct sunlight, which really brings out his colors, but just now, with artificial light, he does look a bit dull. But when I got him, when he was a baby, he was very purple. And part of the Candino morph, I don't know if you can tell that they have these red eyes because Candino is candy and albino. And I would like to do a genetics video, but that's just, you know, Elton's a Candino, and that is made by a candy and an albino ball python bred together. So I thought that when Elton was younger, he looked like Elton John when Elton John was wearing a purple suit and his red sunglasses. So what better thing to name a snake after my favorite artist, who I thought they looked similar. So this is Elton. He is definitely my favorite snake that I have. I love him to pieces. He's just such a good boy. He ate like 2 days after I got him. I've never had an issue with him eating. He loves food, and he's such a gentle eater. When I'm feeding him, I feed all my snakes frozen. If I'm feeding him a rat, he just very calmly takes it from the tongs and swallows it. Here we go. So the next snake that I have is a ball python again. Her name is Cinnamon Girl, and she is a single gene cinnamon ball python who is 100% het for pied. And I got Cinnamon Girl from a local breeder named Jason Goodwin. I received Cinnamon Girl in a trade for my Orange Dream female ball python. I got Cinnamon Girl because I've always been a very big fan of the black pastel and the cinnamon morphs, just the single genes and all of the combos. I think they're beautiful. She's a really gorgeous, sweet snake. And the reason that I got her is because when I first started really educating myself about ball python genetics, and I will again make a video about this, one morph that I fell in love with, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, are the panda pieds. And panda pieds, if you don't know, are a black and white snake. It is a super black pastel pied. They look like pandas, and they are going for about $10,000 right now. And I don't want one because I want to sell them and make money. I want them because I love black and white snakes and animals, and I love just black and white together. And I just want one. I want one as a pet. I don't intend to breed one. If I have it, like, making one would kind of be the end all for me. I don't really know if I would sell any if I did ever produce any. I have Cinnamon Girl in the hopes that one day she might help make me a, you know, an 8-ball pie pied, which would technically be like a little bit different, but I can't really make a super cinnamon pied because for some reason the super cinnamon pieds are usually an all white snake. They kind of look like blue-eyed leucistics, but I believe they have black eyes. I'll put something up there if I'm wrong or whatever. So when I got Cinnamon Girl, she was just a little baby. Like basically she was just old enough to go to her own home. She had had a couple meals already, but that was it. And she's probably one of, again, all of my snakes are really good eaters anyway, but she has just never missed a meal. Again, I talked to Jason recently and he said that all of her sisters from the same clutch are ready to breed this year. And so Cinnamon Girl isn't even 2 years old yet. And for somehow her sisters are big enough, and I don't know if this is just some snakes grow faster than other or if it's the result of power feeding, but I would never breed a snake personally that was under 2 or 3 years old, like, and that was at least, you know, 1,500 to 2,000 grams for females. So this is Cinnamon Girl. I really don't show her as often as I should. My Instagram feed as of recently has been very much featured on Zephyr and Elton. I'll obviously show Zephyr very soon because you've already seen Elton. Zephyr actually just shed, so she's looking all pretty for the camera. I don't really know what else to say about Cinnamon Girl. She's just a really good snake, and I love her. So my next snake, this here is Miss Lodi. Lodi is a black pastel ball python, 100% het fur pied. And I got Lodi from Fauna Classifieds, which is a website that sells a bunch of reptiles. It's a bunch of like vendors that they can list what they have. It's kind of like a forum. I got Lodi along with Ludwig, who is a black pastel pied, and I'm not really sure when this video is going to come out, but up until today, I'd had them for over a year. I thought that Lodi was a girl and Ludwig was a boy, and I believe that they were a sibling from the same clutch. Again, I got them from a breeder named Matt Peacock. I do not believe that he produced them. I believe that they were produced by, I'm not even joking, a man named John Cena. Lodi is in shed right now, and I know that there's going to be so many people that are like, oh my god, never handle your snake when they're in shed, put her back, ah! That's true in most cases, but I know my snakes really well, and I know that people are like, oh my god, like no matter how well you know your snake, you're gonna have a bad shed, you should never ever don't even look at your snakes when they're in shed, put her back. Lodi has never had a bad shed with me. She's really tolerant of handling. I've never had any issues with her. There is one incident where she, on the first Thanksgiving that I had her, my mom had a little bit to drink, and she was putting the turkey away for Thanksgiving, and I had Lodi and Ludwig out because I had just got them, and I was showing her Lodi and Ludwig. And my mom didn't wash her hands after putting the turkey away, and I had her hold Lodi, and the next thing you know, my mom screamed. And I looked over and Lodi had just like clamped down on her hand. And I am going to make a separate video on like snake bites and snake bite stories, what to do if your snake bites you, why snakes bite you, and all that good stuff, but I just wanted to share that fun little tidbit of her. Oh, I never finished my story about Ludwig. Okay, so I sold Ludwig to my best friend and fellow snake breeder that lives here in Maine, and she was trying to lock Ludwig to one of their pied females. And she was messaging me and she's like, you know, I really can't get Ludwig to lock, this is really weird. He's my only male that isn't breeding. What we're going to do is we're going to, you know, we tried popping him, we can't find any hemipenes, it's really weird. So we're going to buy a probe kit just to make sure that Ludwig is indeed a boy. And last week she got back to me, she's like, we bought, Lodi's clapping my face. We bought a probe kit and Ludwig is a girl, her name is now Lady Ludwig. That blew my mind. At first I was really upset because if I had known that Ludwig was a girl, I definitely would not have sold her. I definitely would have kept her totally through, but I mean, if I had kept her, I never would have been able to breed her because I don't have a male to pair her with. Ludwig was going to go to Lodi and Cinnamon Girl. He was kind of going to be pimped out to both of them. So I guess like in a way it worked out, because then I would have to another male to breed with them so that I could get pandas. I guess like in a way it worked out, but I really, really wish that I had known that before I sold her. This is my little Lodi girl. So my next snake is Cookie. Cookie is a female super cinnamon ball python, which is the super form. So if you were to breed two cinnamon girls together, well, a cinnamon girl and a cinnamon boy, you would have the chance of getting a super cinnamon. I have always really, really wanted a super cinnamon. When I was first going into snakes, I knew I was like the first morph that I want. I either want a Candino or a super cinnamon or super black pastel. Super cinnamons are very, very, especially now, sought after morphs. People really like the solid black coloring. She's got a little paradox right here on her back. I got Cinnamon Girl. Technically, I paid for her last fall and winter, but I did not receive her because I live in Maine, where it is cold probably like 8 months a year, and we can only ship in the summer and spring. So she was produced by Bruce Tay. He makes Gray Matters, which are super cinnamon champagne pastel, I wanna say. I'm gonna put a correction somewhere here if I'm wrong. He's really, really well known for that. Those are very sought after morphs. So I got Cinnamon Girl. I had to wait so many months for her to ship to Maine, but finally she arrived and she was perfect. Bruce did warn me that she has eaten nothing but live, and he didn't know she was going to be okay switching over to frozen. So the first night that I had her happened to be feeding day for all my other snakes. So I noticed that she was a little active, and a lot of times new snakes will be active when you first get them because they're kind of scoping out their enclosure. I did notice that Cookie was showing a little bit of interest in the rat. So what I did is I took one that was supposed to go to another snake that I had, Khaleesi, and I dangled the rat in Cookie's enclosure, and sure enough, she took it. So I emailed Bruce. I was like, hey, thank you so much. She's gorgeous. She's arrived safe, and she has already eaten frozen. He's like, oh, cool, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. She balls up a lot. She is more of the typical ball python. She is one that I don't handle that much. If she's in shed, I don't touch her because she's just a typical ball python who kind of just wants to be left alone to do her thing. She's got a cute little face. I named her Cookie because when she's balled up like this, she kind of looks like an Oreo cookie. She is just a really, really cute, awesome snake, my dream morph. I did want to breed her because I would like to make het pieds, because I still really do want to make a panda pied just to have. If I make more pandas, I really, really don't think that I would sell them to anyone other than my close friends, because they're just a highly sought after morph. And a lot of times I don't really like it when snakes are seen as just trophies. I don't want one because they're seen as valuable. I don't want one because everyone wants them. I want them because I want a black and white snake, and I really don't like the busy patterns on the Xanthics. And I also think that Xanthics brown out a lot compared to the super black pastel pieds or panda pieds. So next up is Zephyr. Zephyr is another Candino ball python, except she is female. She just shed last night. She's a little definitely more spooked, more sensitive, more scared than Elton, who's very, very calm and relaxed. I did get Zephyr with the intent to breed to Elton because they are both very, very excellent quality Candinos, and I really, really like Candino morph. When Elton inevitably passes away in a few years, when I say a few years, I mean like 30 years, I know that it's gonna hit really hard, so I would like some of his kids to kind of carry on his legacy. And it's for that reason that I don't really want to breed anytime in the next few years, because I want his kids to basically outlive him, and if I breed them too close to when I got him, then they're just gonna die like a few years after, and I don't want that. I got her from a group called Reptile Auctions on Facebook. The breeder, I cannot remember his name. He was really, really cool. I'm so sorry. I will put his name somewhere either in the description or I'll put it up here. I got her for cheap. For some reason, no one else really bid on her. I think she's an excellent quality Candino. She's just a really, really cool snake. I named her Zephyr after the Zephyr song from Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I got her when it was becoming springtime, so everything was like blooming, and that's a really cool time here in Maine because it seems like everyone just kind of prays for spring after like 6 months of winter and snow and storms and cold. So she was really, really special to me because I got her when it was becoming springtime. So I really don't have like that many cool stories about her. I just think that she's gorgeous. I love her head is like, I don't know if you can see it. Her head has an orange tint to it. She has a beautiful head stamp. She is just such a cool snake. She has never bit me before, but she has shown some defensive tendencies. She definitely is another snake that I wouldn't handle that often when she's in shed, if at all. I definitely don't handle her as much as I handle Elton and Lodi and Cinnamon Girl and Hodor. They are definitely snakes that are more durable and that they don't mind handling as much as Cookie and Zephyr do. Okay, so right here is Delia. Delia is a pewter hidden gene Woma ball python. Delia is very special to me because not only did she hatch out of my first clutch, she was the first snake to pip, and she was the first snake to fully emerge from the egg. She is a feisty little spitfire. She hisses at everything. She has bit me several times. I love her to pieces. She is just such a good snake. She's really, really beautiful. I think that she just has this gorgeous coloring. She looks just like her mom. Her mom's name is Delilah, and that's why I named her Delia. I love this snake so much. I had originally thought about selling her, but especially now that her mom Delilah lives with my ex-boyfriend, and I don't have Delilah anymore, I don't think that I would ever get rid of Delia. She just means so much to me. I love her to pieces. She has the sweetest little puppy dog face. I'm really hoping that the older that Delia gets, she calms down, she stops wanting to fight everyone and everything. I hope that she's a snake that I'm able to handle often without her getting really stressed out and hissing and biting. She's only usually really bad when she's still in her enclosure. Delia is also a periscoper. Ooh, see, she's kind of a spaz. I really don't like to handle her that much. For Delia, I just really like knowing that I have her, that I have a piece of Delilah with me, that she was the first snake to hatch out. I'm going to add pictures. I have so many on my Instagram. I'm going to add pictures of her like pipping. And when she hatched. Just like, oh, I love this snake so much. She means the world to me. She is the last snake that I have from the first clutch. I don't know. She's such a special girl. I love Delia. So my last snake that I have was produced by Bob Vu, who is pretty well known in the ball python community. This is Sir Pants. He is a cinnamon pied ball python, and that's where my Instagram name originates. You can see that right here, he's got a little bit of a red spot on him. Pieds and blue-eyed leucistics can get markings like that if they're curled in a ball. It's basically the equivalent of if you're laying in one spot for too long and you can get like furniture or clothing lines on you. It's nothing to worry about. He is a healthy snake. He's very pearly white. He's a pretty good boy. He's kind of a finicky eater. He does eat, but his food has to be piping hot. I prefer not to feed live. I do feed frozen, but obviously would feed live if it was absolutely necessary. When I had my first clutch, all of them were fed live for months just to make sure that they were established feeders, and I believe all of them did end up switching over to frozen. And I'll make another video about snake feedings and how to switch over, or if you even can switch over live feeders to frozen. Sir Pants he's probably nearing about a year old, but he's just a slow grower compared to my other snakes. He doesn't really like to be held or handled that much. So again, when I'm handling my snakes and I have them out, it's usually Elton, Cinnamon Girl, and Lodi because they definitely do the best. Serpide, he's a really, really good snake. I've never had any issues with him biting me or showing any signs of being defensive. I do intend to pair him with Lodi and maybe Cookie and Cinnamon Girl just to get some het pieds in there. A lot of people have this thing where female ball pythons need to be a certain age and weight before they breed, but people will breed males in the same year that they hatch. And for me, that's kind of weird. I would not want to do that. I would want to make sure that both the male and the female are at least close to the same size so that it doesn't look weird, because I've seen some pictures where it looks like the females are just suffocating the male. I know that it's not happening. Males can go off feed sometimes and you can overbreed males, so why wouldn't you want them to be, you know, in top physical snake shape where there's like no risk of anything happening? And when I say no risk, all breeding, all animals, there is always a risk when breeding. That's why people tell you not to breed your favorite animals, but we'll get back into that at a later time. So I'm gonna put Serpants away because he clearly does not want to be out, he does not want to be handled, and I'm going to probably grab Elton. Okay, so now that I'm back with Elton, who is probably just gonna hang out like this and kind of explore, he might periscope. For future snakes, I know that people are probably gonna ask, what do you want for the future? In my current living situation, I'm really in no position to get any more snakes as much as I may want to. I just don't have the room. I do use a rack system, and in another video I'm going to go over how I keep my snakes set up. I'm going to go over husbandry and all that fun stuff and different ways you can keep your ball pythons, but for this I really just wanted to stick to my current snake. In the future I really would like a black pastel banana ball python. I really want a mimosa ball python. I really want a mystic potion and possibly another super mojave. I do want a panda pied, maybe a super black pastel ghost. I do want a blue-eyed Lucy. There are just so many snakes that I want, but honestly I don't know if I'm ever going to get them all because I do work a regular job and it is difficult to find time to take... Hi Elton. It is really difficult to find time to take care of all of them when you have a regular job. But right where I am with 8 snakes and 1 gecko, it is definitely a lot easier to maintain. I never had issues with feeding and husbandry and paying for all of the snakes, or when I had all my snakes before I had to sell them. I never had any issues with that, but I would definitely say it's a lot easier and less stress now that I'm down to 8 ball pythons. But if I were given the opportunity and I for some reason didn't have to work a normal job and all I did was get to take care of my snakes, I would love to expand my collection. There are people who are going to say like animal hoarding and you can't pay for all those, you can't afford them, you can't take care of them. That is true with a lot of animals, and I'm sure fellow ball python keepers will agree that ball pythons are a very different type of pet, and when you have multiple, it's very easy as long as you have the correct setup for one. There's a good chance that you're gonna have the correct setup for all of them, and it's really not that difficult. So let me know what you guys want to see for future videos. I do have ideas. I do want to do ball python care. I want to do a video just on my gargoyle gecko Boopy. I want to do housing. I want to do different kinds of housing. I want to talk about common misconceptions with ball pythons. I want to do a little bit of a genetics video and possibly another video tied into that where I want to go if I want to continue breeding, where what I want to breed and just all of that fun stuff. I do want to do maybe like a silly little, someone suggested a snake dress up, which I thought was really cool. There's also how to keep proper humidity and heat when you live in a state where it gets cold and dry a lot. And that's something that's really, really important to talk about. And just if you guys have any ideas, please let me know, because I would really love to keep making videos and showing off my snakes and reptiles and just how much I love them. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know what you want to see in the future.